Hi Greedy 3Ds, if you ever wanted your own facehugger, and let's face it, why wouldn't you want your own facehugger? Today I'm going to be making this behind. This is a 3D print and painted facehugger. If you want to see how I made it, stay tuned. Now, there's a plethora of these models on the internet, but I've found this one on Maker World, and the reason I like this is it's got an articulated tail. Really do like this one. I'm printing it on my Anycubic S1 Max so I can get as much on there as I can, and I'm also going to do some printing also on my Bambu Labs A12 rounds of this one. Ignore those round things in the centre, therefore the good ladies plant pots. You've never seen them. You haven't seen them. And I'm printing everything in Inslogic PLA, this bone colour. It's wonderful stuff. Thank you to Inslogic for sending it over to me, and I just love the colour. It's perfect for a facehugger, and I'm going to be printing it, as I said, on my S1 Max. So I'm going to load my Ace Pro 2 with me filament. Nice and easy does it, because it's got an automatic feeder, unlike the Bambu Labs one, because I haven't got an AMS on this. So I'm just going to print it on a single spool, and about 4 hours later, voila, there it is, all printed. Do you know what? You forget, don't you, about these magnetic build plates. They are so cool. It's so easy to get things off these days. Do you remember the old days when we used to have to chisel them off glass ones? Anyway, moving on. Everything is printed absolutely wonderful on both machines. I did put a brim on the S1 Max because I wanted to make sure everything held, and you don't really need a brim, because the only problem with a brim is, of course, you've got to get the bleeding brim off. But you know what, it's not the end of the world, is it? I just pulled it and poked it and used a little bit of a deburring tool and a sandy bit to get it off, but it came off really easy. But putting the brim on for me just made sure that I got everything printed and nothing lifted off, and everything was where it needed to be. It's quite hot here in the UK, so I wanted to make sure that things did their job. So just pulling off the brim, and it needed a little bit of a clean up around the edge, so I did that with a little bit of sandpaper just to tidy up some of those bits that stuck out on the end, and I used the deburring tool. And then I went to a gluing, and there's quite a few bits. I think there are 36 fingers to glue together, and I've just used some super glue and some activator. And I thought, who wants to get into a banking app with your fingerprints? Why would anyone want to do that? So I decided to destroy my fingers with super glue and activator, and I also used a clamp to put it all together. And as I say, this activator just means that it just speeds up your whole process. It means you can get things done a lot quicker. If anybody knows a better way of getting things like this done without gluing your fingers together all the time, I'm really keen to hear about it, because there was loads of gluing here, and as I said, getting into your banking app or into your phone was just not going to be possible after faffing about with all this glue. But and again, I think I've seen some files as well where the whole fingers and that are in one piece, but there's lots of supports, and I didn't want support marks, so I did it the way I did it. And the good thing as well with this model is they just clip together, they just push together, which means you can got flexibility in the little fingers, or the whatever they are on the facehugger. So if you want to wrap it around your face for a fancy dress, you can do that, of course you can. And the articulated tail too helps you do that. So it just clips together really, really easy. There's quite a lot of doing them, as you can see. I've done them there on the left. The body goes onto the tail. There's two halves to the body, and the tail just clips on, which again means you can move it about. Plenty of super glue, because I printed this face down on that PEI flex sheet. It's quite bubbly, which is good, because it means the glue will work better, sticking the two halves together. And I'm going to use a couple of clamps to hold them together. Well, I think I am anyway. I can't feel my fingers at this point, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but yep, a couple of clamps just to hold them together until the glue starts to set, using again some activator to do them. Oh yeah, you could see me stuck to it, couldn't you? Do the magic with the activator, and that is done. Takes seconds to do, and you're ready to move on to the next part then. And the next part is the fun part. It's starting to put it all together to make it look like a big spider thing. So get the clamps off, get your facehugger feet, and it's literally a case of just pushing them on. There's 8 feet, and they literally just clip in. Again, with this design, there's lots of flexibility. You can move the legs all over the place, and round and up and down and bend them. It's great if you want to pose it or you want to use it for a fancy dress piece. Now, this video is not being sponsored, but I have been sent something that I want to show you, because I think it's really, really good. This is the K&F Concept BS500M, a 2-in-1 rechargeable air duster and vacuum. It uses a brushless motor that spins at 300,000 RPM, producing an incredibly powerful blast of air. For 3D printing, I found loads of uses for it. It's brilliant for blowing sanding and dust off your models before priming or painting, cleaning resin print vents, removing stray bits of filament from around your extruder and build plate, clearing those ceiling fans and keeping electronics inside your printers free from dust. If you've ever sanded a model indoors, you know how quickly this fine dust gets everywhere. It's not just for printing either, it's ideal for cleaning out your desktop PCs, laptops and keyboards and camera gear, and because it also works as a vacuum, you can flip it around and suck up all that dust instead of simply blowing it somewhere else. It's even handy for giving the car a quick clean, getting into those air vents, cup holders and all those awkward little gaps. With magnetic quick change attachments, 3 power levels, twin LED lights and a rechargeable battery, it's one of those workshop tools you end up reaching for far more often than you expected. If you'd like to check one out for yourself, there's a link in the description below. We are going to move on to the painting stage now, and I'm going to use some Kaleido paints. Kaleido paints are awesome. This is the matte red paint. It's an airbrush paint that just works beautifully with my airbrush, and it's the company Kaleido who are related to Gallery or Gallery. I think it's Gallery, and the paints are wonderful. Make sure you go and check them out. I've done some videos on them, and I'm painting the mouthpiece of this model with it. Now, H.R. Geiger, when he designed the Facehugger, this is known lore. This is alien lore, this is fact. He designed the mouthpiece on another part of human anatomy. I'll say no more than that at this stage. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the pink, and I'm also just going to lighten up that red colour there as well to make it look a little bit more interesting and just take away from the boringness of the rouge. I've done a bit of overspill, as you can see there, onto the inner part of the Facehugger body, and I don't really want that, to be honest. So I'm going to take some skeleton bone and I'm just going to tidy up the bits that I've overspilled. Now, I took this skeleton bone with a view to paint across all the knuckles and all the joints and make it look a little bit darker, and that's actually what I did. And it wasn't until after I did it that I realised it's a little bit too light. Now, you're going to do this when you're painting a model. You're going to get to a point where you're making all these changes and you're doing stuff, and then you do it all and you look at it and you think, do you know what, that's really not what I want it to be. So I'll come back and address this in a bit, but at this stage I am just giving it that skeleton bone coating, and I guess in hindsight it's not done any harm. It will certainly not affect the end result. In fact, it will enhance the end result, but ideally you can probably skip that part out if you don't want to do it, but we'll come back to that. Slaughter Red is what I'm going to use now. Just to make that mouthpiece a little bit more stand out. It's very bland at the moment, and I feel it needs to have a little bit more definition, so I just took this Slaughter Red just to define the certain ridges and ripples on the mouthpiece, just to make them look a little bit more stand outy. I can't think of another word I'm going to use to that, so giving them a blast across, as you can see, with this Slaughter Red speed paint. Not ideally what speed paint is for, of course, but it does the job here. Now, the other thing we need to do with this part of the mouth is it's got to be slimy, it's got to be wet, it's got to look gooey. So I'm going to use this UV resin, which is fabulous stuff for this, and I am just going to splodge it on nice and liberally all over the mouthpiece there. Just get it on, get a plenty of it on, and then take a brush that you will not be using again, because once you get resin on your brush, it's a real nightmare to get it out. So I'll just use an old brush that's going to be destined for the bin anyway, and I'm just going to move it and spread it and get it all over the mouthpiece there, just to make it look wet. And the good thing with UV resin, of course, is once you've got it exactly where you want it and once you've painted it everywhere, because it's UV resin, you can take a UV torch and just make it cure, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just going to cure it all off. It didn't take long at all, a couple of minutes of curing, and that now is going to be virtually bone dry. It's going to be cured, and it's just going to look really wet and gooey. The other thing I wanted to do was just reiterate some of that wetness around into the body as well, so I just went round it one last time with that brush again, just to spread the wetness out a little bit, and then I'm going to cure it with my UV torch. This is a USB charged USB torch, really good, no batteries in it, you just charge it all up. Wonderful. Well, it has got batteries in, of course, and that's what it looks like, all wet and glistening, and I'm really chuffed with how that looks. But of course we're going to do a bit more to the body, just to make the body look a little bit more I won't say realistic because of course it's a fictitious piece, but I think you get where I'm going from. So snakebite leather from Citadel, and I'm going to apply this like I would apply maybe some moles or some texture skin dot speckly bits to skin, and that's what I'm going to do across the whole of the Facehugger, starting off with the head bit and moving all down the tail, just being liberal. Now some of the dots were probably a little bit bigger and a little bit more pronounced than I really wanted them, so I thought we're going to need to tone them down a little bit. So I took some skeleton bone and I just dry brushed them back in just to take away the starkness of some of those dotty things on there as well, and just add another layer of light, another kind of zenithal, another shade if you will, on top of what we've already got. And I'm starting to really look how this is how this is coming along. It's starting to look really, really nice. Before I took snakebite leather again, and this for me is where the whole thing comes to life. I've just popped it into a GAD 39 gallery airbrush, and I am going to sporadically put this on the inner parts of the model. This is a 0.3mm needle, so it allows me to be a little bit more precise, going over the arms, going over the joints, going over all the shadowy bits, and I did the whole tail as well, just to give it that kind of leathery kind of colour, which is synonymous with the alien Facehugger, as you can see there. But we need to make it look even more leathery, so a little bit of clear varnish out in the sunshine, and I am liberally going to splodge that right the way across. Now if you're doing it outside in a well ventilated area, okay, face masks should still be worn. As you can see, I'm not wearing one. Please feel free to tell me off in the comments. But I'm in a well ventilated area in the middle of the garden, so I am giving that a good old splodge across. And it's really hot day in the UK. I'm really sorry about the legs, although they are rather fine legs. Now, I do want to make a stand for this, and I found this stand on Thingiverse, which I will share with you guys. So I am going to print this on my Flashforge Creator 5, and the reason I'm choosing that is I go into paint on the slicer, and I'm just going to add some of that yellow in for the Wayland Yutani. Now I know the little triangle should have been in a grey colour, but so forgive me on that, but I've chosen yellow and I've printed it on the Creator 5, and that stand has come out perfect, and it fits the Facehugger perfectly as well. I like the little stand, the little logo there, all good. I think it's about time really we saw the Facehugger in all its glory. I hope you enjoy the end result. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. As you know, I like making all things from Aliens. It is my favourite movie, along with Star Wars, of course. But today, I'm wearing my Aliens t-shirt, so we had to be making something from Aliens. If you like what you see today on the channel, there's a couple of things I really would appreciate you doing. Just hit the subscribe, like, and the share button. That really would be wonderful if you could just take a second to do that. Thank you. That means so much to me. We do have a Patreon as well if you want to join that. That can be from a couple of quid a month, or it is free if you want it to be. If you pay a couple of quid a month, I've got some free files for you. Check all the details down below in the description. Let me know what you think about the painting of this alien. Would you have done anything any different? Would you have changed the colours of it? Would you have done anything any different to what I've done? I really am interested to hear what you think. Constructive criticism, of course. I hope you've enjoyed that, and make sure you stay tuned to the channel for other 3D printing chaos, and who knows what we'll be doing next here at Greedy 3D. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my Patreons. You guys are marvellous, all of you. The names that are running down the screen at the moment on my Patreons, you guys are fantastic. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed that. As I have said, see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.